says riot in the Gazette.
Riot? Half a dozen women sitting in front of a dumper.
The word is protest.
It's got more letters than riot, I'll admit. But riot sells newspapers, protest wouldn't.
Yeah, well, I suppose it gives us more publicity, doesn't it?
Oh, sorry, look, does it hurt?
It's all right, yeah.
Well, the bandage has got to be tight, Lucille.
Ah. Does it hurt, Chuck?
Oh, if anybody else asked me that.
Well, never mind, it might have been your head.
Thank you very much.
The entire area is solid, Mrs. Walker, especially since word got round about Lucille being injured. We're marching to the town hall at midday.
Oh, I'll leave you lot to it.
That's right, Billy.
Pardon?
Like you did yesterday.
Yeah, you weren't very manly, were you? None of you fellas. At least one of you could have come to my rescue.
Yeah, well, the trouble with us fellas is that the sight of blood tends to upset us. But if you ask me, you lot enjoy it.
Morning, Millie. Council of War. In there.
Yeah, they got a bloke in there showing them how to assemble a machine gun.
Man's inhumanity to man. That's what it's all about. Vested interests and...
Hello, Lucille. How's the foot? And don't say it only hurts when you kick people.
Oh, well, if anybody wants kicking.
Oh, don't tell me, Illy. You'll be the first one in with a size 10 clog.
Lucille's foot is none the better for your asking, Len, and you've got a nerve coming in here after yesterday.
It doesn't hurt when I kick anyone, Uncle Len, just when I dance Swan Lake.
That's my girl.
We're marching on the town hall at lunchtime, Mr. Fairclough. I don't suppose, as our local councillor, you'd care to join us for the 5th time of asking.
Well, what do you want to let him know for? He'll only inform the police.
If that had been your Stanley, I'd kick his teeth in.
Violence, Len, is that the policy of the council these days? Hardly democratic.
Seems to be everybody's policy these days, flipping violence.
And as Mrs. Walker says, hardly democratic.
No. My Stan says we got brainwashed into taking orders without question during the war, and we're still doing it.
You haven't answered, Uncle Len. Democracy.
Democracy means you go your way and I'll go mine. So I'm going. Ta-da.
Maggie, shall we take a couple of flower bags to chuck at the bobbies?
No, it's not their fault, it's the planning committee. I wouldn't mind taking a few rotten eggs for them.
Sigyle.
Right, darling, let's have 20 flags, will you?
We don't sell cigarettes.
What's them over there, then? Drawing pins?
Besides, what the likes of you want cigarettes for, they'll stunt your growth, and you fellas got to keep fit and healthy, haven't you, to push women around?
No, don't start having a go at me, darling. I'm just a fella that's building a building for the wages.
Might be a good idea if you gave your wife a bit more of your wages. Told her to buy your cigarettes for you when she goes out shopping. You won't get served here.
An accident, you know, like it was an accident when you dumped them bricks on Lucille Hewitt.
Thank you very much. Now...
You're getting your own back, I see.
You joining us on the march, Mrs. Tatlock?
No, it's not really my squabble, Mrs. Clegg.
It's never anybody's squabble, is it, until it affects them?
Oh, I don't know.
You don't know what, Mrs. Tatlock?
Well, if I come and live round here, it might be my squabble.
Is that what Ken wants?
I don't know what Ken wants, Mrs. Clegg. I don't think Ken knows what Ken wants, either for himself or the twins.
I'd say he'd want for the twins what he thinks Val would have wanted. Bring 'em up the way he thinks she would have.
Thinks.
Well, that's all he can do.
He can let another woman help, Mrs. Clegg.
Well, perhaps he will in time, but it'll take time.
Yes.
Now, what can I get you, Mrs. Tatlock?
I'll leave me order with you, love, but I'll take the carrots and onions.
Ah, very well.
You see, I'm just frightened they're going to miss a little bit of spoiling. I mean, how often when your husband's been...
ex-husband.
Yes, well, how often when he's been strict with your boy have you shoved a threatening bit into the lad's hand?
One parent's there to rule the child and the other to spoil it, you mean?
Well, something like that, give or take, either way.
Well, I'll get your order round as soon as I can, Mrs. Tatlock. My son's doing very well in London.
Oh, I am glad.
She in?
Upstairs.
All right.
Go on up.
All right.
Yes, fine, thanks, love.
Hey, is it true the government's sending the dragoons out?
You know, I always did say this was a rough area, even without that warehouse. I used to say so to Val.
Help us stop the warehouse, then.
Yes, well, one problem at a time, Mrs. Clegg, especially at my age. Bye-bye, love.
Bye.
Halt! Who comes here? Friend or tradesman, 3 guesses.
Tradesman.
How about them cupboards.
About that estimate.
What about it?
I'm still considering it.
You know what I think?
What?
You've gone kinky.
Hey?
Well, why else would you keep me dangling on a string and getting me up here about some scrappy old cupboards? Look, I'm going to lay it on the line for you. I am available. I don't think you're bad looking, observed from certain angles, so let's forget about the cupboards and take it from there.
Right.
You mean, right?
Yeah. After I've considered your, estimate.
Is it real?
No. It's only a reproduction. But what's the difference? It looks the same.
So will the view from this house when they start building the warehouse. Very real.
I got an answer to that, too. I'm going to paint a picture of Ben Nevis on the window.
Is that your way of escaping? Painting a picture on the window?
No, not really.
I didn't think it was.
You want to know if I'm going to join in on this protest, don't you?
If it's not too much trouble.
You know, the pharaohs built pyramids and obelisks for their wives. What do I get? A cheap, cut-rate mail-order warehouse.
Hello? Anybody there? Oh, yes, of course, I can see you. Oh, that's a bit ancient, isn't it? You can get newer maps than that down at the garage.
It's a matter of taste, Betty.
Oh, is that what it is? Oh, well, yes, I mean, you two have had a better education than me. I still like Staggart Bay. Oh, here, love, for the kids.
Oh, thanks, Betty. Thanks a lot. Oh, goodness. What have we got here, then? The, good Lord, the Tiger Men, the Masked Mole and the Fire Devils.
They are a bit lurid, aren't they, Betty?
Oh, only to us, not to the kiddies.
Perhaps.
You know, it's funny about me and Cyril.
What is?
Well, you know, two jovial sorts like us. I mean, well, we're natural for parents, and yet we're not. That's why I'm in my element, taking Susan and Peter out. I love some of the things they do, even these little comics.
Betty?
Yeah?
I keep saying this to everybody,
Oh.
but try not to give them too much attention to spoil them, you know.
Ah, but you can't help spoiling them, can you? Little loves. Try, love.
She really does mean well, and she obviously adores them.
Who doesn't? That's the snag.
Go on. You get used to it. I did.
I'm not sitting in a wheelchair. I feel soft.
Well, it was just a suggestion. I thought you might cut a more sympathetic figure, you know, less objectionable.
I might be half cripple, Ray Langton, but I can still use my nails.
Ah, you're all talk, you it, like the rest of you protesters. It's just a game to you, instead of washing your hair.
You take that then, love.
You know, when I saw you at first, I thought you both got a job selling newspapers.
If we don't achieve anything else, at least we brought a little humour into your life, Billy.
Very grateful, honest.
If you don't shut up, I shall wrap one of those posters right round your tonsils as big as you are.
That's my last word.
The plan is for us to march to Victoria Street, where others will be assembled, waiting for us to lead.
Then you'll stagger, shuffle, amble and cough your way up to the town hall. Oh, sorry, Betty. See you, cheeky.
March in columns of four, he means, smartly.
Hand in hand, united we stand.
Shut up.
Shut up yourself.
Here you are, Stan. Very good sentiments, them, Chuck. Brief and to the point.
All right, to the point, all right, yeah.
We'll show 'em what's what.
Aye, and then who isn't with us?
Well, stop in the pub, Stanley. You know, I've got a theory about you and your elder.
Go on.
You're not man and wife at all. You're identical twins.
Hit him.
Later. Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, could I have your attention for a moment? Thank you. Allow me to introduce Mr. Geoffrey Hunter.
Who's he when he's at home?
He is the public relations officer from the mail order warehouse.
Aye,
Oh,
big
is
business
he?
pushing its nose in, eh?
Buzz off, mate, will you?
Have you come to march with us, Mr. Hunter?
No. But I think it's a good idea. I don't blame you. I do the same myself. But I think before you start your protest, you should allow me to acquaint you with one or two little bits of information, which might be to your advantage. I take it you're Miss Lucille Hewitt.
That's right.
Even if I'd not noticed the bandage, I would have known from the description in the Gazette. A young, attractive-looking girl.
You're a smooth talker, aren't you?
Fancy with it and all.
That's what I'm paid for, to talk. But the description still fits you. How is your ankle?
Well, I'd rather you have had it than me, let's put it like that.
Miss Hewitt, my company is very sorry for the pain and inconvenience this little accident must have caused you. So here's an invitation to be our very first customer, which ought to be good for whatever takes your fancy in, say, the clothing showroom.
Hey. You've got him there, love. That voucher as good as admits liability.
Not at all. Miss Hewitt deliberately placed herself in front of the oncoming dumper and the driver jammed on his brakes. Our very first customer. And we've got a wonderful selection of clothes.
Now you know how Adam must have felt.
Well, it's not exactly a brickworks now, is it? In fact, if you close one eye, it could be taken for, well, a modern public building.
No, it's quite right, Lucille.
Yeah, but that's only a model. I mean, you can't see loads of people and big grunting lorries there, can you?
I can see I'm not stating my case very well, am I?
Have you got a case?
Well, I think he has.
I think I have one too.
Well, maybe you've got a bitter one. Well, I admit it's not an eyesore. Well, not the building any road.
I thought that was the main argument. A factory across the street instead of flats.
It was.
And what about the inconveniences?
What's perfect in this life, Lucille?
So nothing is.
Indeed.
I said he was a smooth talker. I'm not taking that, you know.
I never expected you to. Oh, Mrs. Walker, who should I talk to now?
All right. He's a public relations man. And you know what public relations means? Relations with the public. But he's the first bloke who's had the guts to come from that firm and ask what you're all belly aching about. And I mean guts.
I bet he ain't half getting round Mrs. Walker in there, not to mention little Lucy.
Oh, not Lucille, I'm sure.
Well, I think we should get started.
Yeah, definitely. It's past 0 hour.
Now, what do you say, Elder? You going to stay and see what Father Christmas has got for you?
Oh, he's not going to bribe me, Billy Walker. I'm unbribable. Mind you, I suppose we could hear what he's got to say. I mean, it's only democratic.
You know what, Tyler? I'll be right proud of you lot, I don't think.
Who?
What, Tyler?
Oh, what? You know, you can actually feel the rot creeping in, can't you?
Not rot. Common sense.
Miss Nugent, can you spare a minute? His Nibs would like a word with you.
Oh, I watch out.
Go on.
Be careful, Joe.
Hello.
Right. Well, I think that's it. All set.
Just about. Hey, Maggie, you know them banners they've got for us?
Oh, I hope mine's a sensible one, not one of Ray Langton's poems.
Yeah, wouldn't it be all right if we could make one of our own, get a bit of publicity, you know? Get your tarts from Clegg's and Barlow's.
We might just attract the wrong kind of customer.
Listen, if they've got their own canteen over there, we might need any kind of customer.
Yeah, you're right. Are they ready, Billy?
Some are, some aren't. There's a hitch.
Oh, you mean Albert Tatlock can't find his musket?
Oh, fellas come in a canoe with beads and trinkets for the natives. A PRO.
Well, I don't think he'll get very far here. We're unanimous.
Oh, some of us aren't as unanimous as others. I'm just over to Victoria Street to tell them to do some knitting while they're waiting. Ta-ra.
Oh, well. Get what trade we can while we're waiting.
Aye, why not?
You heard?
Yeah.
Well, it just goes to show you can't please all the people. You, you considered that little estimate yet, darling?
We both have. We thought it was very neatly written.
I think I'll just stick the kettle on.
The estimate.
Yes, we're getting very matey, me and that word.
Funny you should mention that.
Aye, well, we need the odd laugh.
Now, Ray, you and me's always been good friends, haven't we?
None better.
And we always will be.
Oh, nothing can come between us, darling.
Good, only I've give the job to another joiner, that fella in Palmerston Street.
You flaming what?
You see, his estimate was cheaper, and business is business, as I'm sure you're always saying to yourself.
Well, what about craftsmanship?
Oh, he's just as crafty as what you are. He's a nice fella, you know, got a bit of a squint.
Oh, what's happening to the world? Business taking over from friendship and principles? Not to mention sex appeal. Mine.
Oh, you've still got that, love. But not enough to make up for that fella in Palmerston Street that's £2 cheaper.
And the top of the morning to you, too.
Did he hit you?
Nearly.
Now you can hardly call it ugly, can you?
I still think people come first, Mr. Hunter. Homes for people to live in.
People do come first, Miss Nugent. People need employment, otherwise they couldn't afford homes.
You've heard of folk having the last word. He has the last million.
This warehouse will provide work for the people around here. No waiting in queues for buses. No taking hours getting home at night. Bang, right on their own doorsteps. Now, you look like a lady who might be connected with social work, a church, for instance.
In a small way, yes.
So what about the community centre the council's giving this street? Employment, money, recreation, and all in a compact little community.
He's good. Have you ever saw Westminster Abbey?
3 times.
I'm sorry, I'm still not convinced. People also need a decent environment to live in and get away from work.
You know, I'm glad you're sticking to your principles. I'd get nothing out of my job if everyone agreed with me. I thrive on argument, the cut and thrust of debate. But all I ask is that you think about what I've said. Consider the pros as well as the cons, as I think Mrs. Walker and Lucille have. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'll go and talk to the troops. Thank you.
And have you considered the pros?
Well, he's very persuasive, he talks a good deal of sense, and he's very personable.
Oh, will you shut up, Auntie Annie?
They'll never put that warehouse up, Chuck. Never. Not so long as we stand together.
Oh, you're right, love. Look, there's something puzzling me, you know, something Ken said.
What's that, love?
I can't remember if what Tyler manages Wolves or West Brom.
Hey, I hope you put those comics where the children can find them when they come home from school.
Rest assured, Betty.
I made them an apple pie. I'll bring it round a bit later on. Well, I know how children love to mooch around for something to nibble when they come home from school.
Right, thank you.
Mr. Barlow? Jeff Hunter. I can't say how deeply shocked I was when I read about Mrs. Barlow.
And so was I. Look, Mr...
Hunter, Jeffrey Hunter.
Right, try your PRO blandishments if you like. But don't come to sympathy with the bereaved one with me. It's too raw. I'm still getting colour brochures from monumental masons offering headstones at cut price.
I'm sorry, I really am.
Hey, what's that? A toy fort?
A fair comment coming from you, sir. Now, don't tell me, cross bayonets, a wreath, a crown on top, 1914 to 1915 on a scroll. Yes, it's the one my grandfather had, the Mons Star.
By heck, you know your medals, don't you?
You know what that should be, Mr. Hunter? A park with trees and grass. Or a swimming bath, or a clinic, or a nursery school. We need those things.
And what do you two think of this?
It's a pity it wasn't just that size, isn't it?
Stan, he's the enemy.
It's going to be bigger than our houses.
They'll be in perpetual shadow.
And not only that, Miss Nugent. Stan works nights, as you know. Now, he's going to be getting undressed with hundreds of girls watching him.
You can draw the curtains.
Why should he? Come on, Stan, we've made our position plain.
It'd be all right if it was the other way around, wouldn't it? I'm getting stripped to me watching her.
Don't be coarse.
Right, I'm cool.
You can't win them all, obviously, Mr. Hunter.
The day's young yet, Miss Nugent.
Oh, I thought I got burglars.
You don't mind? I'll let myself in. I thought I'd just put these groceries away. Give your mother-in-law a hand.
No, I'm grateful.
Oh, it's all right. Thanks. Oh, sorry. I see how Betty brought them comics.
Yes.
Where she was going to. She was brought up on comics.
Yes, so she said.
I suppose that's why she's still a bit of a comic.
What did you read, Maggie?
Oh, anything. Not comics. I used to read a lot. For all the good it did me.
They're being spoiled, you know, Maggie. Dreadfully.
Yes. Oh, but then...
It's not what they need, not right now. They just had a shock and they don't know what's happened to them. The best way to snap them out of it is by a bit of efficient guidance and firm handling.
Yes.
I can't do it, unfortunately. I'm out at work and the granny doesn't seem to be right.
Well, it might be an idea if you got somebody in.
Think so?
Mm-hmm.
Not their granny.
No, not their granny. And, not our Betty, neither. She'd spoil them too much.
Yeah, especially not Betty.
But, somebody.
You're right, you know, Maggie. Somebody.
Because
as long as we keep firm, ma'am, and don't weaken.
Oh, we're not going to, Chuck, are we, Stan?
They'll put that building up over my dead body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, don't worry, I've not come to sell you anything. I'm no smooth talk. As a matter of fact, I've come to ask a favour. Will you get this for me? I'll be back in an hour.
Oh, it's an order.
I told the wife I'd pick up a few things on my way home.
A few things is more than most get here in a month.
Really? Well, it's nothing to the orders you'd get if that warehouse had been completed. I think your protest will work, you know. It'll sway public opinion, and good for you, too. I'm right behind you, but don't you tell my boss that.
Listen, what was you saying, like, about orders?
Oh, forget it. What you never have, you never miss. It's just that most of the people working over there would leave their shopping list with you on a Friday morning and pick them up when they got paid on a Friday night. You should see the car this grocer's got outside our Warwick branch.
Well, I mean, I suppose it would bring some prosperity.
Oh, I borrow for our kid. I mean, for you, maybe, but not for me and your dad.
You're right, Mrs. Ogden. You'd have nothing to gain.
No.
It must be a full-time job looking after Mr. Ogden and doing your spot of cleaning for Mrs. Walker. You wouldn't be able to take on a job over there, no matter how well paid.
Yeah, she might, you know.
Well, not to worry. Your protest will stop any temptations. Even the temptation of you giving up your present night job to a night maintenance job across the street. They'd have needed somebody. An hour then.
Right.
Hey, night maintenance. We could pull the bed up to the window and knock it from our house, couldn't you?
I was talking to a mutual friend about it.
Oh, aye? Which one? The blonde, the brunette?
The one in the corner shop who serves, Irma Barlow.
Oh, I'm with you, yeah.
She said something about an estimate.
First you say out to make conversation, you know.
Don't do it, mate, not again.
Look, it would have been in my own time, and I've used my own materials.
All jobs go through the firm in future. I could have cut down on that estimate, you know, by using the wood from that Turner Street job.
Oh, don't tell me you're worried about a piddling little wall cupboard job.
We get contracts from time to time that puts a few quid in our pockets. But between the contracts, we are damn glad of those little jobs from the neighbours. So don't spoil it.
Can't say I've noticed you were that bothered lately about the neighbours.
Yeah, I won't. Them should see you through the night.
Oh, thank you very much, love.
Hi, Billy.
Oh, Charlene, I've earned it.
Billy?
Huh?
Mr. Hunter asked me a very strange question today.
All right.
Did I know of a convenient garage where the people across the road could have their vans serviced if they came?
So naturally,
Well, naturally.
I knew all along it'd bring business. That's why I kept out. So if out comes my way, I can take it with a clear conscience. And there's not many around here can say that, is there, Mum?
They were very annoyed in Victoria Street.
I'll bet.
Well, they said we'd let them down if nothing happens tomorrow. They
Might
said,
still.
I'm not so sure.
Do you play chess, Miss Newton?
My father tried to teach me. I'm no good at it.
Well, we've lost one or two pawns, thanks to Mr. Hunter, but we've still got a few knights and bishops left. Not to mention the Queen. And the Queen can move in any direction she wants and can be very devastating.
Mrs. Sharples.
Yeah, she'll be back tomorrow. She'll sort things out.
Well, I do hope so. If only to restore my faith in human nature.
That's the one thing I like about human nature, Miss Nugent. It's human.
Don't know how he's going to manage with the children. Well, I thought Mrs. Tatlock was moving down to look after them.
I don't think that's altogether Ken's idea.
Oh, well, if she's not moving down, I'm going to ask if I can take care of the twins.
Oh, I don't think I would, Betty.
Why not? It'd be marvellous. Oh, it'd change my whole life. And that's been mine and Cyril's regret, you know, not having any kiddies. Perhaps we could be sort of an auntie and uncle. Or maybe even more.